You're listening to Two Chunks in a Hunk, a movie podcast where we give pumps and dumps.
Hello and welcome to Two Chunks in a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week, I'm your chunk.
I'm Doge, and it starts with the eyes. She's got to have those kind of eyes that can look right through the chunk.
And I'm Carter, 20% devil, 80% hunk.
Interesting. Carter, I noticed that you introduced yourself as the hunk. You want to shed some light on that?
Yeah. So I'm the hunk for this podcast.
Yeah.
Because I'm a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, wow.
I have a verified Instagram account.
Wait, Jesse?
Is this Jesse?
The Jesse Awuchi?
Zipper from head to toe.
Out steps.
Hey boys, it's Jesse Awuji.
Oh my gosh, Jesse. Wow, thank you for everything you've done
Talk
for our
like
show.
a circus.
We're going to get
announcer.
sued
What are they
by
called?
this guy.
Sorry, Jesse.
Jesse, listen, we love you. Thank you for sponsoring our show.
This random NASCAR driver is going to own everything we've ever owned.
Oh man.
So this is less silly and more just very interesting than our normal openers. Did you guys know this movie that we just watched called Fast and Furious may or may not be a remake of a 1939 film called Fast and Furious?
No, it's not.
There is a film from 1939 called Fast and Furious, and let me read the synopsis. Joel and Garda Sloan, a husband and wife detective team who also sell rare books in New York, take a vacation to Seaside City. At Seaside, Joel's pal Mike Stevens is managing and preparing for their beauty pageant.
What on earth?
Joel is made one of the judges, plus he has invested $5,000 in it to Garda's dismay. Eric Bartel, promoter, arrives to dupe Mike Stevens, Joel's pal. When Ed Connors, New York racketeer, arrives, Bartel, the guy who arrived to dupe Stevens, is mysteriously murdered. Joel and Garda set out to investigate the murder.
What?
That is the exact plot of this movie.
So
guys.
it's not.
No, it's not
It's
even
not so
close
much
to
a
the same.
remake as it is a stolen name.
It's just the same name. There was a movie in 1955 called
The Fast and
the Furious,
which essentially is this.
A man wrongly imprisoned for murder breaks out of jail. He wants to clear his name, but with the police pursuing him, he's forced to take a beautiful young woman driving a fast sports car hostage and slip into a cross-border sports car race to try to make it to Mexico before the police get to him.
There we go. That's a little more our speed.
So how did this even happen, and how did it take them this long in the series to pay homage? Do you think they knew? Do you think the producers and directors and writers knew of this?
See, that's my question. Like,
You have to, I think.
Yeah, with the Mexico border thing.
Yeah. I think they have to.
Oh, this maybe has a worse tagline than any of the other Fast and Furious movies. This
The old
prequel,
one?
the really old one. A wanted man meets a wanting woman. Yikes.
No way. No thanks. That made me feel gross.
Yeah. So anyway, now that our engines are primed and greased up,
Yeah, I'm revving.
I think it's time for Jordan Warner's Car Corner. Welcome to Jordan Warner's Car Corner, where Jordan Warner's answers all your car-related queries and questions.
Tell me about it.
I got a question.
Yeah, hit me.
When a car crosses borders,
Yep.
does it though?
Interesting question. And one that we've been getting a lot here, Jordan Wonders Car Corner.
Phones have been ringing off the
Yeah,
hook.
let me shed some light on this, see if we can slow down those phone calls. Actually, when a car crosses the border, what happens is, have you seen The Prestige?
Yeah.
So what happens is the original car dies.
Oh,
and
no.
the clone of the car kind of takes its place on the other side. Yeah. The clone doesn't really know what's going on, but that original car is kaput.
What happens to the person inside the car?
Great question. Displacement of matter. Have you heard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a theory in the physics
Wow.
science.
Oh my goodness.
And essentially, the car deforms and reforms so quickly around the driver that they don't even notice.
Like when-
that they have also died. Sorry, you didn't let me finish. They
Oh,
don't even
wow.
notice
Oh,
that they have
wow.
also died.
I didn't notice
And
that.
So actually, and the crazy thing is that borders is kind of a loose term. So it could be state lines, county lines, driveways, stoplights. So we are all clones of our original
Wow.
selves.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wow.
Follow-up question.
Yeah, go.
If you're American when you get in the car and American when you get out of the car, what are you when you're in the car?
European.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
perfect.
I'm seeing. I'm getting it now.
perfect.
It's
I'm
because I
getting it.
pee when I drive.
Yeah. You pee nos.
Always, dude.
Gosh.
Always.
That downhill juice.
Downhill juice, dude.
What kind of car do you think Paul Walker would be / is?
Excellent question. And an easy answer. It's a Nissan Leaf
Okay.
because he is charging up and he's ready to roll, but he's quiet and sneaky.
And he's bad at acting, just like a Nissan
Like a
Leaf.
Nissan
He's
Leaf.
acting like a car.
And when I see a Nissan Leaf roll by me, all I want to do is give it orange slices and a Capri Sun.
You're trying, buddy. Good job
You're
for
doing
you.
so good,
This is
Nissan.
good for you. All right. With all this talk about cars and Paul Walkers, it's time to tell the people what they want to know. And that is the movie that we're talking about this week.
You don't mean Fast
and
Furious. Now, before we do the normal thing where we toss it to Doge for a synopsis.
I mean, I've already given 2 synopses of this exact movie.
Yeah, that's true. But before we do that, I want to point out a glaring flaw in the Fast and Furious ecosystem.
Tell me.
Oh, the only one.
Walk with me. Join me.
Paul Walk.
Paul Walk with me.
That's the name of our podcast now.
Paul Walk with
Paul
me.
Walk with me.
I love that. So, follow me. The first movie in this series is called what, friends? The Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
That's right. 2 Ds. The second movie now, it's called Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yep.
The third movie is called The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Is it the?
It is.
In that
It's
one?
The-
Okay.
But the fourth movie is just called Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
I think I know why.
Well, let me spell this out for you, what the problem here is. The real name of this movie should be The Fast and the Furious 4: Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Because it is certainly not The Fast and the Furious 4. But it's also not Fast and Furious 4 because it's the first Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
And I get that it's essentially a spiritual reboot of the series.
See, that's what I was going to say. I think it's a soft reboot in much the same way that the modern Fast and Furious franchise is a reboot of the adventures of Joel and Gerda Sloan.
Yeah, naturally. But I'm just saying some naming consistency would really do a lot, I think, to elevate and complement what is already such a consistent and
Good.
crystal clear good series.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't know if you dissect grammatically, like the Fast and the Furious can mean something different than Fast and Furious.
it can
it?
Because the Fast
Yes.
and the Furious, those are people.
Because those become
Yeah.
nouns. Fast and Furious then become nouns. But in this, Fast and Furious are
that's
adjectives.
just describing this movie.
Yeah.
This movie's fast. This movie's
Yeah.
furious. But I just think that because the next one is Fast 5, but it's not Fast 5, is it?
Nope.
No, definitely not.
It's not because it can't be.
Unless we've got 5 distinct people that they're
That are
saying
fast.
these are our heroes.
Did you guys
The
think
Fast Five.
that maybe there are 2 tiny thes somewhere in the title of this movie?
Maybe.
Could
Just
be.
zoom on
Just
in.
could be. It
Just-
could be.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Given the
Fast
history
and
of
Furious.
incredible poster art for these films, it wouldn't surprise me if some
Ooh,
game-changing artist just stuck those little bitty
doggy.
words in there.
So anyway, now that we've dissected the title of this movie to the point where it's no longer funny, Doge, please give us a synopsis.
Let me tell you what happens in this bad movie. Letty is murdered, and Dom Toretto and Conan O'Brien team up to avenge her death and take down a drug lord in what is not, this is not a joke, what is exactly the same plot as Too Fast, Too Furious. It's if you help the government, we're going to clear your record. You have to race to qualify to be in the drug lord's entourage, and you're going to bring him down from the inside. Like it is 100,000% the same plot. And I think this is when we start to hit that wall of there's only so many kinds of race stories that you can do.
Yep.
Question though.
Answer though.
How many of the James Bond plots are that different?
None.
Zero. I mean, that's the same movie every time.
So it works.
It does.
Sometimes it works.
It does.
Yeah.
But
Another day at the job.
But I think to be like, I think that works because it's a trope. You know what I mean? Like it's the spy movie in the same way that it's like a superhero movie would be like nerd gets powers. And instead of using them to fight back at bullies, like goes on to save the world. Like that's the trope. At least if it is a trope, I'm unaware of it, but I've never heard of car related movie where drug lord holds auditions to be in his entourage.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's a thing.
Maybe that's a thing.
Maybe
that's a thing. And one thing that I want to focus on real quick is a lot less butt rock in this movie. Still some.
Nobody says anything.
Still some.
Still some for sure.
But less.
But less butt rock.
And I'm going to call that a win.
I'll pump
That's a pump for me.
Pump to less butt rock.
Dump for still some butt rock. pump for less butt rock.
I just haven't responded much because I've never heard the term butt rock.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Don't know
it's
what that
any
is.
song that's just like.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Only 80% butt rock, 20% not butt rock.
I need to go with the type of eyes who look fit to even see you are butt rock.
Mr. Diesel would like to have no lettuce, please, on the sandwich.
Please give me no lettuce.
I don't want any lettuce on my sandwich. That's food for rabbits.
Tempting me, you know I think.
I'm a growing boy. I don't need that rabbit food.
In that crocker 5 times.
Okay, we're done.
So thanks, Vin. Vin Diesel stopped by the studio.
Vin Diesel here in the studio. Vin Diesel, our second sponsor.
Wow, we are so thankful to you, Mr. Diesel.
So let's talk about this movie.
Let's talk about it.
That's the kindest thing you've ever done. So let's talk about this movie. It opens up in a familiar fashion, I would say.
Yeah.
It does.
With the robbery of a semi-truck train of gas tanks.
Yeah.
We got a lot of they just want to do one trip.
And here's the thing, though. Can I say something crazy?
It's not gonna
Do
be.
it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Can I say something even crazier?
Yeah.
My super pump is the highway heist
Yay!
at the beginning of this movie. That ruled so much.
It was awesome.
That was one of the greatest action sequences.
I loved every second.
It's definitely happened. I mean, we
Right.
have a legitimate series that people can get behind.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about it a little bit, but like they kind of stumble into, man, thank goodness we made it past the first 3.
Yeah.
And we can finally do some things. If you even look at the poster art, it's like we went from Adobe to like a legitimate, like, oh, there's even thought and artistic stuff instead of just like, let's put all their faces on there, different colors behind different faces, do a little streak.
and that's
Yeah,
all
it
the-
looks
there it is.
less like the cover of a PlayStation 1 game.
I would actually
Yeah.
argue that the posters continually get better as the series
Oh,
goes
I think
on,
they
too.
do.
The
Yeah,
I think
look
so
at
many
that things
crap.
happen right now.
Yeah.
That's a cool poster.
Yeah.
That's a cool poster.
that's a really cool
And
poster.
then there was
Other
another
faces fun
poster
with
too, where it's like the reflection of the characters in Dom's car.
Yeah,
the hood of
that's
his car.
cool.
Like,
Well,
Hey,
and like
the tagline for this movie is new model, original parts.
so it,
even a
it's
better
totally
tagline.
a soft
So it's
reboot,
totally a
and
reboot,
better-
and it's got a
better
good tagline.
yep.
And it honestly, the tagline kind of makes it feel self-aware.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I want to say about that opening scene, besides just how dope it is.
More that dopening scene.
Which obviously you loved it. It's
Yeah.
your super pump. But besides just how like cool it was, I did not expect to love seeing everybody back together.
I
again
know
so
that
much.
was the most unexpected
Yeah,
thing
what
for me.
did it do? There's something Fast and the Furious has done that none of us really were drinking that nos when we went into this, because it was almost going to be like, oh, here's a parody podcast. Like this is going to be funny things to talk about bad movies.
Yeah.
And we still weren't seeing it. But then I did feel things.
Yeah.
in a time that I didn't feel anything at all. And I don't know how they've done it.
I was legitimately sad when it appeared that Letty was dead.
Yeah.
And
Which she is. Like,
right
in the frame of this
world,
movie,
she is dead.
She is
That's
dead.
what I mean.
Yeah.
But the other thing I want to say about the beginning, didn't it just feel like a glove when Han was there with everybody?
Yes.
Did that not just feel right?
It felt right. And then they still are doing these things where they can only give us what we want,
Yeah.
the three of us want, for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Han's gone, Letty's gone.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like, Letty's great, Han's great, and they're both.
Letty
in this
was
movie
so
for
much
like
better
3
in this
minutes.
movie than
Yes,
she was in the other.
She was.
Do you think this is producers or writers just kind of holding their cards a little bit? Like, I don't want to do this to death yet.
I think
Is this
they
part of
didn't
a-
know what the magic was.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
I think they did know what the magic was. We're like, we can't give all our magic right now. We got to leave people wanting more magic
I-
after this.
I hear you. The only thing is, if that's the case, they must have learned this lesson after this movie to just give all magic all the time, because I know the next like several movies are just like absolutely crazy go nuts when it comes to just
Okay.
like give them everything they want.
Han is in other ones, right?
He's in, I think, the next two. And I think he's like main character status.
So are they set before this one then?
No, after.
But he's in Tokyo now, and he's gone to Tokyo to die.
Sure, but apparently he's not going to stay there long term until later.
This is so confusing.
It is.
He may as well have a little bow wow winked at the camera when he's like, I heard interesting stuff's happening in Tokyo.
100%. But before we move on from this opening scene, I just want to point out how cool and crazy the effects were on
Yeah.
the first drive under the flipping truck.
That
Yes.
was so cool.
I loved it. Huge pump to drive under the flipping
Huge
semi.
pump on that. And
What happened? How are we liking this?
I don't know. Especially the beginning. Well,
Yeah.
I know. I'm trying to be the champion in the corner for these movies, but
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think we all went
don't
into
even
this
have to
pretty
try here.
open-minded. But
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I genuinely liked the beginning of this.
oh gosh, yes. And I just want to point out a huge sin here. They get the gas, they go to the party. What's Dom drinking? Corona? No.
Dos Equis.
Dos
right?
Equis.
Come
green
on.
bottle.
What's your deal?
Can't
That's
be doing
why-
that.
Tom.
Karma,
But
dude. That's why
man,
Letty
they more
died.
than make up for it, though, don't they?
Oh, they sure do. With a grand total of 8 Coronas
That we saw.
throughout this movie,
You never
and
know.
one egregiously pointed at the camera can of Nas.
Yeah, yeah. And we, with this movie too, like early on, I completely forgot what I was going to say.
Excellent,
Nice,
excellent,
very nice.
excellent.
But then I remembered
And here it is.
this has the same budget as Tokyo Drift.
which is
That's
insane.
They both have an
Unbelievable.
$85 million.
You know what I think it
budget.
is? I think it's less cars.
Yeah.
I,
It is
instead
less
of- I think
cars.
instead of blowing all the money on a billion cars, they were like, what if we actually like tried to make it good?
Yeah. And I think what's cool too is and this doesn't have much to do with it, but well, yeah, less cars equals, we're starting to see more fighting.
Yeah.
I think this
are.
one's really introducing because all of a sudden, Dom is taking bullets and punching
Yeah.
through
Doesn't flinch
windows.
even for a second.
when he almost drops that engine block on the guy's head and catches it with
Yikes.
one of his big muscle arms.
Can I ask a question to my superhero like almanacs over here?
Hit it.
Yes.
When did Iron Man come out?
2008.
Okay. Because I thought they were just trying to drink some of the superhero juice, and they picked Dom, and they're like, let's make someone invincible.
Well, if you're gonna make somebody, it's gonna
It has to be
the
Dom.
DC.
So this was
I would've-
2009. So this was the same year that like X-Men Origins Wolverine came out.
So
Oh, no,
I
that
guess
was
it
2010.
is. I
But
guess that's
it's-
right. This one's 2009. Tokyo Drift was 2006. So it does
Yeah.
make sense.
It might have
So
been
this
cashing in.
is like cash in. This is if they're looking for superheroes for inspiration, they've got almost all of the chronological X-Men movies. They've got all the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
They've got both of them
So
fantastic.
I feel like that's what we're getting.
tonally, this movie is a little superhero.
oh yeah.
And unfortunately, I feel like it sometimes actually fails to deliver on some of the spectacle that I was hoping it would be. We'll get to that. So let's actually
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. So there's a weird time jump here, apparently.
Without addressing it, but it has to be, right?
'Cause
Because
Letty-
Letty had time to go home and work for Brian for like a while.
Yeah.
And Dom had time to become established in, where did he go? The Dominican?
yeah.
He had to go be established in the Dominican Republic. And for some reason, unknown to us all, the FBI once again is like, yeah, give Brian another shot. Third time's the charm,
Yeah.
right?
Brian's
Well,
had
his-
so many second chances.
His introductory scene, though, like going along with this being the catalyst for like legitimate film series now and all the characters figuring stuff out.
Yep.
I mean, he looks like a cop now. That looks
does.
pretty
Yeah,
cool and
he does.
intimidating. Like I love the little things, like a pump to the guys trying to climb over the tall fence.
He rams
and he
it.
just makes
Yeah,
the first
dude.
time he's actually made a good decision and shown intellect
Yes.
to just ram that fence. I thought it was really cool, and I think parkour was getting super huge
was
around this
big
time.
then.
Anyways.
Yeah.
we see it everywhere in action
Watch
movies
so
like
many
that.
YouTube videos,
But it's-
and
yeah.
those piercing baby blues, get out of town. But
Yeah, how'd you feel
back.
having your man P walk back?
it was honestly, it was so good. I loved having Brian back in the saddle again. It was a good time. But here's the thing, and I think it's because let me hit you with this. When they created the video game Legend of Zelda, do you know why
Yeah.
they named the main character Link?
Why?
Because his job was to be so like just kind of like blank slate that he would be a link between the player and the game, and you could just kind of imprint yourself onto the character.
Whoa.
I think that Paul Walker
That's why his name is
is
Link.
the Link. I think that Brian is just supposed to kind of be this blank slate upon which you may paint your own masterpiece.
They chose the most generic white person name for him.
They
Then,
sure did.
I
But
think is a good way to describe it.
I'm gonna do
hey, if your name's
something-
Brian, I'm sorry about that.
I'm going to do something crazy right now. I'm going to throw my super dump out this early.
Okay.
Because I know it and it was consistent. And I first noticed it in this chase scene that we're talking about.
Go.
And it's so many movies in this era are victim to this, but it is the Bourne series shaky handheld cam
Yep.
style of filming. Drives me nuts. You can't see anything that's happening in the movie. I can never tell what's going on. I can't get facial expressions. Nobody can act when the camera is going wow, 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 which might be a saving grace for a few people in this movie.
Sure.
But man,
Paul Walker should have all his scenes filmed with that.
It-
Then.
it was particularly egregious on the rooftop when
Yeah.
he tackled him off and crushed a minivan. But man, I'm watching this going, please just use a tripod
hold it,
or
yeah.
a steady cam.
That was the
please.
craziest thing to me because that has always stood out as one of the weird action things in The Dark Knight when Batman falls and like crushes the roof of that car.
Yeah.
But there's no way that either movie stole it from each other because they both came out in the same year. Like it's
So is it super duper easy to crush the hood of a
Yes,
car?
I don't know.
Or the
it's,
roof of a
It's
car?
got to be like an Armageddon Deep Impact kind of thing where they both just like convergent evolution had the exact same idea at the same time.
Can I say something that reveals too much about me as a person though?
Yeah.
Didn't question it when Batman did it.
Yeah, no, me
When
neither.
Batman landed, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, he probably does weigh
But when
400
Paul
pounds.
Walker and another person, two humans landed on a car, I was like, no way, dude.
Maybe it is with Batman too. You're like, he's so full of tricks and like gadgets and stuff. It's
got
like
weighted
maybe he's
boots.
got weighted
It's like
boots.
like a 600-pound
He knew
package,
he'd have
head to
do
toe.
that. Yeah.
So from the chase scene, we get like some cop stuff, some weird cop stuff, and then we get Dom like under his car, and then Mia calls and is like, "Dom, let he die," and Dom's like, and so
Dom, your Dom impression sounds like you're blowing a bubble in pudding.
Creative description.
gross. Is that
So
imagery
nasty.
ruined
I can only see pudding.
Just a bendy straw and a Jello brand pudding cup.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. I'm putting slowly more and more tongue into it.
Yeah, no thanks. All right, so Letty, gosh,
that was almost more Vin Diesel.
so
Now we can fast forward to Letty's funeral.
Which is weird. Yeah, can we say it's weird?
yeah, Letty's funeral's really weird.
So Paul Walker stares, and Vin stares, and,
then the FBI
Shea Wiggums is his name, his real life name.
I was gonna say, if that's a character name, that's the best character name I've ever
it's his
heard.
name. Shea
And I'm
Wiggums.
so sorry, Shea Wiggums.
Shea Wiggums stares, and everybody stares, and then they're like, "Man, really thought that Dom would show," and then Brian just like somehow like senses a disturbance in the force,
Yeah.
and just turns right to where Dom was standing, and is like, "Maybe he was here. Maybe he's been here in our hearts all along."
Yeah.
It's just so bad.
Right?
I like don't have things to say about this because of how bad it is.
Yeah. Like, do we jump? Do we just jump? Let's jump.
What's the next thing that happens?
So here's where I think this movie really struggles. Really fun opening, pretty fun ending, and a couple of standout parts in the middle. But man, we just finished this movie about 18 minutes ago, and I can't for the life of me remember what happened in the middle of it.
Yeah, I think it's because they all kind of run together.
I think you're
it's
right.
all the
It's
same
also
thing.
furious.
No, what I do know, and what I did actually kind of enjoy, especially for one particular line, but what I did enjoy was the first qualifier race to race cars for Braga. So
Not even kidding. Don't remember that race
Yeah,
at
that's
all.
the one-
It's
yeah.
gone from my mind.
So
Crazy
they find
GPS.
out. They find out that.
Oh, yeah.
So essentially, they find out that Letty's murder happened due to her running drugs for a guy named Braga.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, let's figure out this guy named Braga. And Dom's on his own kind of warpath, and Brian's on his own kind of cop path, and they intersect ultimately at the audition race.
Yeah.
And the audition race takes place at a Topgolf, and where they all meet Wonder Woman.
Yeah. And
And they're like, hey, I know y'all raced before, but have you ever seen the movie Tron? And then they give them these GPSs.
It's just like,
yes.
And then Daft Punk shows up. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. The GPS is like, again, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I'm not even ready to get to the GPS.
It's so hard to pick things to dump on because every time I'm like, that's a dump, then my mind wants to go, oh, if you're going to dump on that, then you have to dump on this.
We can
too.
spend some time at this Topgolf actually. So first of all, why are they at what is it called? A golf range. It's not a golf
Oh,
course.
did they call it something?
No, it's just
A driving range?
there's the one. It's
a golf ranch.
Is that golf
that was-
range, I think.
Oh, I thought you said ranch.
No, I'm going with golf range.
I was fully prepared to confidently say, hey, man, I think it's called a golfing range.
So I'm going to
not.
call it a golf
Wow.
ranch. So they show up at this golf ranch.
The golf ranch.
And at this golf ranch, it's weird, right? I mean, I'm not the only one that was like weirded out by how strange everything was here.
Well, it's definitely like, it can't be a hidden spot.
No,
Yeah,
that's
for
what I'm
crime.
saying.
It's
Why would
kind
you
of
meet
blatantly
there?
something. Yeah.
And
And
like,
who's picking those up? Like if that
golf
is
balls? Yeah.
if that is just a massive net over a garage, do the balls just kind of like funnel to a place to reuse?
Maybe there's
them,
one of
or-
those things like when you return bowling balls. Like it's a
just
whole
rolls
like
it back
pulley
for, like, a
system.
long
I
time.
bet that's it.
Yep.
I bet that's
so
it.
I want to talk because
my
this,
super pump now.
this is where we meet her. I want to talk about Gal,
Oh, man.
whose character name I never heard once in the movie and will now look up. It is Giselle.
I was about to say, I think it's Diana Finiscara.
Oh.
She is awful
Yeah.
in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's a mix of she hadn't spoken much English yet, and I don't know, they just needed a really pretty lady.
She grew up French Israeli. There's no way she wasn't speaking English for like a long time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, her accent in this was no better than it was in Wonder Woman.
Here's the
Guess
thing:
not.
if you've been a long time listener of Two Chunks and a Hunk, then you'll remember about 6 months ago we did an episode about Wonder Woman, and
We did not like it.
in that episode, I think numerous times we went on record saying that we believe that Gal Gadot is
Maybe just
not a very talented actress
yeah.
and is only cast in things because she's pretty and has an accent.
sure.
And-
Same reason I'm casting. Most
And I'm sure that she is the sweetest person in the world. Like she visits hospitals dressed up as Wonder Woman. Like
Which is
she's,
great.
She's
in the military.
she's in the military. Like she's presumably a fantastic and very sweet person. I don't know that acting is her thing that she should really pursue.
I want to be clear that we are never attacking the character of these actors and actresses
no.
when we are talking about them. But man, does she fall flat in this movie?
Yeah.
And most things.
I mean, I have seen
Yeah.
her in 3 things total. I have seen 4 things total. I've seen her in this, Batman versus Superman, Justice League, and Wonder Woman. That is it.
Yeah.
I have never once been like, yeah, she's good.
Yeah. I don't know if we are supposed to.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
At least
I
not.
think it's supposed
I can
to.
forgive it in this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think that's what, I mean, I feel like she's just a carbon copy of any love interest except like Letty or somebody like that. It's just, you're just
Letty's the
playing
only female in this series with any kind of personality.
with any chops.
Like
yeah.
all of them, literally all of them are introduced and immediately damseled or immediately made to like just be overwhelmed with desire for whoever the protagonist of the scene is.
yeah,
I think so.
And
out of
and
nowhere too. It's
Yeah.
just like,
which is the hugest bummer about Letty
Yeah.
being gone. Like,
right.
Our
Big,
one-
big air quotes around gone.
yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Our one kind of, can I say BA? Our one like BA female character
for sure.
One actual female
Standing up
character.
for
Yeah.
herself that would actually
Yeah.
slap a hand that's going after her rear.
is
you know?
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
And that is a bummer.
That is a
Speaking of
bummer.
female characters, did you guys feel? I know we talked about this last week. Did you feel that the objectification was even turned up
Ramped
again
up.
in this movie?
That is consistent, you know?
So many lady kisses.
yeah.
Yeah,
it was
it is-
just way too much. It was way too much.
I did not like.
Yeah, just everything. Like it feels like every single scene or set piece, there was something that we're like, we got to put something in for the fellas.
Yeah.
Oh
There's
my
nothing
gosh.
else for fellas.
Yeah,
It's serious.
it's a movie about buff dudes punching each other and racing stuff
With money and
just
drugs.
Like what guys can be like, nah, I won't like that unless I get to see a girl's butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no punches, no explosions, no driving. All I'm about these days are the cheeks.
It's just bad. It's bad. And honestly, if you read some of the reviews of like 10s out of 10, it doesn't get a 10 from a reviewer unless they're talking about, and the babes.
The babes.
Yeah, dude, I've
Everyone
read that
uses the
so
word
much.
babes.
Yeah.
It makes me.
That's so uncomfortable.
You know when you see a spider and then you can't find it anymore, and every 30 seconds your skin's like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when I
Yeah,
hear the
me
word
too.
babes.
That's so true though.
unironically.
Like so many of these reviews are like, can't complain about the cars, the action, or the babes. Everything was top
you
notch.
gotta think, especially with, and we'll see some of the other ones coming up, but especially with like the 9th and the 10th one coming out.
yeah, they've
That-
got to
they gotta turn it down.
right?
Yeah.
Surely they're gonna turn it
Well,
down.
It's now,
I know
like-
this. The most recent one has Charlize in it,
Yeah.
who I think is a pretty fantastic actress.
I
And
also
don't
feel like
really
she
see-
wouldn't stand for that kind of crap.
I kind of don't see her walking into a movie and being like, I'll be objectified without
Yeah.
having anything besides just that.
Oh, for sure. And then like they do bring, I think in the 7th one, we're going to see Ronda Rousey,
oh, nice.
and she just comes in and kicks butt. So obviously that's
Good.
the
Yeah.
opposite. Like that's more along the Letty lines of stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I feel like it's going to go back the other way.
I really hope so.
Hopefully
I
we've
can't
already
wait.
seen the pinnacle of it.
Excellent. It
But
has
it
to be
is-
this, right? I
yeah.
think it has to be this as the
I
pinnacle.
can't wait because I can't even fathom there being more.
Speaking
in a movie.
of weird lady moments, we're introduced to the character of Dwight in this scene.
Oh man,
Who is a character that has never existed before. And
in the real world or fictional?
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And like that points me to another problem with this movie, which is it feels like this is almost my super dump. It feels like the dialogue for this movie was written by somebody who was born left in a basement until they got old enough to write, had never heard a real conversation before, and then said, write a movie script. Like
Welcome
so
to
many-
Fast and Furious, though.
But
Like for real.
Maybe worse even than some of the others. Like the dialogue in this movie was just like, no one's ever said that before. No one has ever said that before. That's something that TV shows and books and movies have said before, but nobody's ever said
no
that. in real
humans
life
ever said
before.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Dwight is a dump for me. He's not my super dump.
Yeah. Oh, huge.
Because
dump.
I need to stop just super dumping on just badly written characters.
Right.
I want to be more creative with my super dump and
Well,
try and hit
and
every
here's the thing
aspect
about
of it.
Dwight is, and tell me if I'm wrong. I want you to out me if I'm wrong. Dwight is what would happen if Florida Georgia Line became a person. Right?
Like a collective, like they join together,
Yeah,
like the Power Rangers or something.
Yeah, like
You know
put
that they
into
are
them-
people.
No, I do.
Yeah.
Well, but if you put them into a blender and mix it up and poured out one person, baked it at 350 for 22 minutes,
Yeah.
this is what would come out. Is this character of Dwight?
And mix in a little bit of foot fungus.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just-
Absolutely.
I really was disturbed.
Yeah, that
And
was-
it's to the point too, like if they are doing that for the kissing ladies in that scene for objectification again, who is enjoying anything about Dwight? though?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Why is
Is someone
Dwight,
laughing at him? Man,
Dwight
I'm never going to
is-
forget old Dwight. That made me giggle.
if kissing ladies is supposed to be the medicine, then Dwight is the refrigerated suppository that he is that the
Oh
medicine
my
is delivered with.
Goodness, what an off-putting metaphor that is perfect for an off-putting character.
Right.
Please let's move past Dwight. I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about him.
I don't want to talk
man,
about
that's
butt
awful.
medicine anymore.
No more butt medicine.
Okay, so they go up to the top of the Top Golf, and he's like, race. And they're like, nah. And then one of the Salamanca twins from Breaking Bad.
Yep.
Weird that he was in this.
And not his brother.
talking.
Did you confirm that?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
And by the way, when he spoke, I guess I never realized that like his American accent was like pretty much flawless. I'd only ever heard him speak in Breaking Bad. I don't think I've ever seen an interview with him. And I just assumed
And they only
that-
speak Spanish, right? They
Yeah.
don't speak English in Breaking Bad.
I think they say one or two things in English.
in the whole show. Wow.
Yeah. Well, they barely talk at all anyway.
I was making a joke about
Don't do it.
the whole show being in Spanish, dude.
But they you threw off my groove. Up on top of this Top Golf is this weird collection, and then they just kind of start the race. Oh, I forgot who's going to close off the roads.
Yes, that is what I want to talk about in this.
talk
Very
about
important.
When has that ever been a problem?
Yeah, when has everybody ever asked that before?
It's like the fact that it reminds me of when they were making Tokyo Drift, they're like, oh yeah, cars can get destroyed. And then so every car was destroyed. I feel like in this one, they're like, oh yeah, people drive, roads aren't just for racing.
It sort of feels like taking a Pepto-Bismol
There's traffic
after you gorge on
sometimes.
Taco Bell, right?
Yeah.
Because like you should have thought about this before, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's a little too late for that, but
In this scene too, something happens to where
us.
Dom has been turned up a notch, and it's great. I think it's
yes.
only been good for his character.
100%
full
He's
throttle
kicking
Dom.
all the butt. Nobody tells him what to do.
And weirdly, I need it to go up even more.
Yes.
yeah, I
if
do
I'm being
too.
honest.
And
I just want a Dom Toretto solo movie.
Oh, absolutely. And all of this is
Dom
feeding
and Han.
into.
yeah.
And
Buddy
I,
movie.
I don't want to I don't know if this is going to hurt Jordan at all, but it's
me.
feeding into my super dump, which is if you're going to give me now. So the plot of this one is they've done something unfortunate. They've taken Brian and Dom and they've put them side by side doing different things.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
like, but they're both kind of doing the same thing. They're not.
They're not. Yeah, I agree with
Anytime that I go over to Brian, I'm like, you wuss. You're only getting by actually telling the chick from Crazy Stupid Love to do things for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dom is holding and like threatening people by holding up engines.
Yeah.
He's punching every window he sees. Like it is just an absolute juxtaposition of like if you there's always going to be the one person who's like, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, yes, Thor kicks more butt, Hulk kicks the most butt, like all these different things too. But then the other people are worthy.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
never
they're
gonna-
interesting.
I think
Yeah.
Dom, I'm totally fine to him leave Brian in the dust. Like, good luck trying to catch up, but they're so far apart.
I'm
and that's
telling-
my super dump. I couldn't get on to them even being friends.
Yeah.
It's like, how could you do that?
Listen to me. My super dump is that Dom is not the protagonist of this movie.
Yes.
Okay.
We're there. We're
We're the same
Pretty much
brainwave.
the same thing.
But here's the thing: I'm standing firm in my
and
theory.
that's great. I think that's good.
No, in my theory, though, of Brian being a blank slate for us to project ourselves onto.
I mean, we've talked about this before.
guess.
Brian exists to be a wish fulfillment character.
And I think you're right.
He's a Mary Sue. He's amazing at everything. Everyone immediately loves him and he never fails.
But don't you dare besmirch the name of Brian O'Connor, because you know what he does get to do later in this movie?
What does he do?
Our very first Fast and Furious series, F-bomb, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
He drops
He
it.
drops the big one.
They had a
Fast and-
choice. They had a choice between the F-bomb and street racing to make this PG-13.
Yeah, and they made it. They did. They
and
went
they
with the
said
F-bomb.
no more streets. We'll have a new F-bomb, and the rest of these are going to be in
the
a
desert.
canyon.
Yeah,
in the desert.
Yep.
Yeah. So
but they do actually have the one street race, and I would like to talk about it.
it was you go.
They get these GPS machines.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that the right term?
Yep.
So they get these GPS machines, and
GPS Ranch, I think.
the GPS is weird. So it's synchronized GPS that counts down from 10 for everybody, like the beginning of a Mario Kart race. And the GPS at about 2 seconds left just flashes roughly 11 scantily clad ladies on the screen.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was
It's just like 3, 2, 1. And it's just like, whoa. It's because those dudes can't drive if they're not turned right on.
right, and that's not for the driver. It's for
Yeah,
the
it's
for
the
us.
audience. Exactly.
And that's the worst part about it is it's not like I could watch it and go, I get why, like,
It makes sense. They got to get in the zone.
But that's just for us.
Yeah.
Those drivers weren't even watching that GPS at that point. It was just for us to be like, and the worst part about it is every lady that popped up was like, what's like, so like it felt like a NASCAR game that you would find in like a Dave and Buster's, like the lady
Yeah.
that waved the flag at the beginning. That's what it felt like.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
it was just so ridiculous.
100%.
But they take off on this race, and essentially what happens is everybody gets destroyed, and
so many. I think this has the most deaths.
yeah, probably the highest
gotta
body
be
count
5,
of any
right?
Fast
Like
and
when you
Furious.
add traffic to street racing.
oh yeah, that's
People are
true. I
dying.
didn't even think about the other cars.
There's some people that their only on-screen time is to do that
To just get
fraction of a
dead.
second of
Yeah.
and then they just dead.
But Brian ends up off-roading this bad boy off the beaten path. For some reason decides not to follow the GPS, which is trying repeatedly to tell him
Yeah,
the
I don't
fastest route back.
understand why he was
and he
doing it.
goes, shut up. And it's like,
I thought
yeah,
the whole
dude,
thing
but-
was going to be like, he's such a good driver. He even outsmarted the GPS.
But
he
except
knows
he
a
didn't,
shortcut.
though.
Except he didn't. He
I
hits
know.
a dead end.
But I would like to point out that my favorite line maybe of the whole series occurs at this dead end.
what it is.
Where Brian O'Connor out loud, alone,
Oh my.
apologizes to his car for what is about to be done.
That also sounds like something out of a fever dream.
I know.
Similar to how the last movie was about the Yakuza, this movie features the protagonist apologizing to his car.
He comes to a complete stop, looks down, and goes, "Sorry, car." And then right off, straight onto the road, and then still loses the race.
Still loses the race.
And yet gets asked back.
Yeah.
Yeah, how number one, how did he get asked back? Number two, how is what Dom Toretto did cheating?
That's my thing.
That's what they do in every street race in all three movies before this.
So-
They like ram each other and try to make each other's cars break.
Brian gets out of the car and is just a big old wiener about it and is like, that wasn't fair. And then Dom's like,
There's no other rules.
Yep.
and then the guy is like, why don't you go cry to your mommy? And then Brian's like, I'm not gonna do that. And then he does that,
Yeah.
you
Comes
know?
back.
And then
Yeah,
he's
how
just
did he come
there.
back? That was the biggest question.
I was waiting for the moment where he was like, I bribed him to let me back in the crew. You can't get rid of me that easily. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But instead it was just like, hey, what's up? I'm playing pool. That's me, Brian. I'm here now.
Did you guys buy the relationship between Brian and Dom?
Only because of the equity that we have from the Fast and Furious.
That he let him.
That he let him go?
Free?
Yeah. The only thing that like there was a shocking lack of chemistry between the two in
Yeah,
this
'cause I was about
movie.
to say it does not work for me at all.
And I think that the only reason I was able to go, yeah, I get it, is because like we had what was built in one.
Yeah. Do
You
you
know?
think that Brian is basically just the little nerd kid that wants to be cool like Dom? Is that his whole?
That is
That's the vibe I'm
that
picking
I
up.
get.
I think it is too. I think I'm starting to get that because and I'm looking back now too because in the Fast and the Furious, not to be confused
Sure.
with the one minus these that we're
Oh
talking
my
about.
gosh.
In the very first one, it seems like one of his first big undercover things, and then I feel like he's got this, affection for Dom.
Let's call it a crush. Let's call it a man
he's-
crush.
he's
He's got a man
crushing on
crush on
Dom.
Dom.
I think he's got a man crush on Dom.
Which who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
You
And
seen those
maybe
beefy,
that's
those
why
beefy arms?
his acting is so uncomfortable because he's playing someone who's uncomfortable.
And speaking of Paul Walker and Vin Diesel's, speaking of Vin Diesel's though, can we talk about how many shirts this homie wore in this movie? Like,
Was
Way
it
to
an
branch out a
abnormal
little
number?
yeah, dude. And let me rephrase that. Maybe it wasn't. Okay, I got the perfect way to put this. It's not how many shirts he wore. It's which shirts he wore. He kept wearing, like, he went from Henley to wife beater,
Yeah.
to Henley again,
Yep.
to button-up shirt with most of the buttons undone, to polo shirt with most of the buttons undone, back to wife beater, back to Henley, to like, what's it called? Like a waffle weave sweater that your grandma would get you for Christmas from Old Navy because she thought it was cool.
Number one, I love those shirts. Number two, how did you keep such a thorough sartorial index of this
Because
movie?
every time he wore a shirt, I kept being like, somebody made it for him.
It just feeds into the fact that this Dom is an upgrade.
Yeah.
Like if you're buying that action figure, like the first one that came out, you got the basics.
You better trade
Yeah.
You got what was painted on its body for him.
better
to
trade
wear.
this is Dom 2.0.
But now we've got that there's a hidden area. Who knows what shirt you're going to get, but you're going to keep buying them to get the new shirt. You got
And-
the new one.
My theory, by the way, is that the costume department would make two halves of the shirt, the front and the back, and then have to sew them directly onto his
they were all
body.
so tight.
Not to mention his spoiler alert. He almost goes to jail.
Yep.
His suit, his jumpsuit
Yeah.
that he's wearing.
I mean, he can't not look beefy. I think it's in his contract that he's like, if I don't
Gotta
look
look
beefy,
beefy.
we reshoot.
Like that
Only
would've been
casting
hugging
around
my
dudes who
hips.
are like 5'1".
And he has just the shiniest head too. I just want to
is.
keep saying. But after that race, and they go to the place with the pool, and and then the guy Braga, but not Braga.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out who
They drop the first hint when he's like, "Would you die for him?" He's like,
They
"Especially
they
me."
pull a Ra's al Ghul,
Yeah.
which they probably did steal from Batman Begins
That's
a
fair.
few years earlier.
That's fair. But this is where I begin to get bogged down.
Yeah, I think, we have 20 minutes left. Let's just hit the high points.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about, I guess the high points are the races.
Yeah.
Like,
So we have the race under. We have the race under the
the first race.
mountain.
The first race
that
into
ends
Mexico.
with big blow ups.
Yeah.
So they go to Mexico. Well, I don't understand why they went to Mexico to race back across the border. That was confusing to me.
I think they were practicing the tunnels. Were they like learning the tunnels?
Yeah.
Doge, you brilliant boy.
Maybe
That's
so.
exactly.
I think they were learning the
Speaking
tunnels.
of brilliant boys, added in our upgraded Dom is like Sherlock Holmes like
Yeah.
detective work.
Yeah.
When he like has that flashback of Letty's wreck.
And
I
so
was
we're
waiting for
introduced
him to
to
lick the
who
paint.
I think like these are some of the better or best villains we've seen. Like they weren't super uncomfortable. It goes along with the like there's a head guy, but then there's a muscle guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I almost disagree with you.
Okay.
Only because the guy that ended up being Braga, like when
It's kind of a
when the reveal happened that it was like it's actually him, I was like, no.
Oh man.
I was disappointed. It wasn't like, yeah, let's head to head, baby. Like
Dude,
I
I
was
thought it
waiting
was-
for the Braga reveal.
I thought it was gonna be Letty.
I kind of did too.
And
And
I
she was like triple agenting.
yeah, I don't know how that would have worked out, but I would have loved that so much more than what we got.
And I feel like I was just disappointed by the reveal. And like, now don't get me wrong, was the other guy the Phoenix? Is that what they kept calling him?
Phoenix, yeah.
So like, I was into him.
That's
like
a cool
he was
name.
scary.
Yeah, he
for
was
sure.
he was a
Yeah, and
mean
I guess
boy.
I'm mainly saying like for the sake of acting, like they blew
Yeah.
Carter and DK out the water.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who the first villain really was. And I mean, I guess Dom is the villain in the Fast and the Furious.
What is that movie even about? Genuine question. I don't remember the, story
first
of
one?
the first one.
The first villain,
They're just trying to
the
break
villain
down
of
street
the first
race-
movie
street racing.
is it's just that semi truck driver with the sawed off shotgun. I
Basically,
think is
Yeah.
the villain
yeah.
of the first
So
movie.
Yeah,
we're
okay.
we're still heading the right direction.
But after they get across the tunnels, which is pretty cool actually,
That was pretty cool.
they end up in this parking lot, and Dom, what's the word I'm looking for here?
He like
kamikazes his own car.
Yeah, he opens the valve and then uses
The cigarette lighter?
cigarette lighter to set it on fire. This is a really cool, really standout action sequence.
Yeah.
This is when they make away with the like, what is it, like $60 million worth of drugs?
I think it's 6 million. No, you're right, 60.
It's 60
Yeah,
million.
Because they asked six
They
to
asked
get
for
the
6
60
back. Yeah.
That's crazy. So they end up using that as a bargaining chip.
which is why the budget was so high. They
But-
actually got
It's
60
real
million.
drugs.
I
Yeah.
want to talk about this scene real quick while that fighting's going down.
Yeah,
That was like some pretty brutal fighting.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like the scramble and the mad dash and the F-bomb.
yeah.
Like we get a lot of like very intense
Yeah,
sequences
that's a very
here.
intense sequence.
It was, and this was one of the like from the beginning. We talked about how much we love that opening scene, but I did have like there was some legitimate like felt like edge of my seat moments,
Yeah.
and it was super encouraging because I was just like I was vocal a couple times because I thought the engine was going to crush a dude's head earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. But yeah, there's
Real into
much
that.
death, much explosions.
So after this race,
How did they get back to America?
I don't remember.
Or they know they're already back in America. They met back on the
yeah,
American
they
side.
have the drugs, the bargaining chips. They ask for $6 million in a face-to-face exchange.
Big leap right there, though. I think there's a big leap in the plot.
Yeah.
On that one. We still have not seen, because they just keep getting rid of Letty, legitimate like romance growing.
Yeah,
It's just kind of you're hot. You sound like the tree from that one movie. And then it's just like, I
Well,
love you.
but I would actually love to dig a little bit deeper into Vin and Gal's scene down in the basement of that party if we can rewind real briefly.
Absolutely.
Because we get some of the cringiest dialogue in this whole series down in the basement of this party. Like the basement garage.
Gosh,
and it's when
that's so bad.
when Giselle comes up to Dom and she's like, what does she say? She's like,
because she got his cell phone number.
oh, she's like, do you have a particular interest in this car? And he's like,
Just admiring the body.
and she's like, oh, well, it was your fair. And he's like,
Yeah, well, body on car, body on woman.
here's the deal. What you're saying is ridiculous. The actual quote is even worse, and I'm going to read it
give
right
it to
now.
me, please.
Dom Toretto goes, "It starts with the eyes.
Ugh.
She's got to have those kind of eyes that can look right through the BS
Same.
to the good in someone. 20% angel, 80% devil,
Gross.
down to earth. Ain't afraid to get a little engine grease under her fingernails."
Time out. Over under on someone having this exact thing as a bio on something unironically. Like,
Oh my gosh.
Tinder,
Not
Twitter.
a real person. Letty
Instagram.
does.
but like,
That's who he's describing because he turns down.
no, but I mean a real life person
no.
who has taken this quote.
Oh, I bet.
And it's
Oh, totally.
copied, pasted
Absolutely.
Oh, certainly.
as their like unironic description of themselves on
So
something.
then Giselle says, "That doesn't sound anything like me." And Dom Toretto goes, "It ain't."
Sorry.
So it's all been a burn.
I'll translate. Yeah.
It's all a
The
burn.
coldest burn of all time.
Yeah. Icy chill, right?
I see.
Yikes.
So is there another race between where we are now and the end race in Mexico?
Nope.
You want to talk about anything other than that end race in Mexico?
I do want to
What
talk
else
about
happens
how
in this
weirdly
movie?
quickly the Mia Brian romance
Oh, yeah.
rekindles,
it's
kind of
bad.
out of
Man,
nowhere.
it's really
Right
bad.
all over the groceries too.
all over the groceries and in front of Dom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
That's another
comfortable
thing, too,
with
is
that.
like, it's not like they've reclaimed what they had before because what
they
the
didn't
heck
have
did they even
anything.
have?
Yeah, I mean, he just lied to a high schooler for
Yeah,
a
I
couple
didn't
of
see
months.
anything.
and then
I
it
think she was
over.
in med school because she comes
she's
and
the
she
bullet.
sews
She's clearly
Dom
a doctor,
up.
right?
Yeah,
she
she's
has
a doctor.
Oh, and we forgot
Dr.
the
Mia.
most brutal fight scene in the whole movie is when Dom calls from Letty's phone and it calls Paul. And,
Oh, beats the tar.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Holy
dude.
moly.
And he just has one little poot
The
of
wipe
blood
away,
out of his nostril.
because he's thrown him through several
Like a
jars of gumballs.
bookshelf.
and-
Really was. We were
Yeah,
watching
like,
this movie and
I don't know what that was.
Carter goes, my gumballs! And they just
like,
scattered.
what's happening?
And
Like,
then,
beats the tar out of him.
I mean, brutal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like
rough.
hospital, I think.
I said he's not going to be in this movie again.
And then they're just
Just
fine.
wiped it off.
And he's like, she did it for you. Oh, the reveal that Letty was working for Paul to earn Dom's freedom.
You know what though? I think people that absolutely love this franchise and it's their favorite one, I think when they're talking about the movie, they blow over this stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Probably. That it's like, well, let's just get to the next race. I think that's
Probably.
what it's about.
Because that's what these movies, that's who these movies are for.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
if I'm going to honor my friend and yours, Caleb Moore, I'm going to look deeper than the races. I'm going
That's
to
true.
find the heart of these movies.
Caleb, this is for you.
And I think one of the hearts of this movie, the place where it shines, is in the abuse of police power. When Brian uses his SWAT team to plant evidence of
Yeah.
drugs on Dwight in his home just because he was mad at Dwight for making fun of him.
Well, I think he's a member of the FBI. I think this is the FBI, right?
Brian is
yeah, but I mean, it's a SWAT team, right?
It is, but it's just
Brian is the very worst federal agent. And Brian keeps receiving second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth chances.
Which is unreal.
Brian has got a bill that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
just growing.
And then just while we're talking about poor representation of law enforcement in this movie, Brian's boss at one point says, "You know what the difference is between a cop
yeah.
and a criminal? One bad decision."
That's it. That's all it
It's
takes.
like,
no.
really? That's the
Uh-oh.
only difference?
we need to start having a more fine filter for our cops then.
That line alone was just like so jaded.
Yeah. The
That's
bad decision
unreal.
was, I should have hidden the drugs. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, what? Yeah, really. bad.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So, I mean, really what happens is Dom is like,
Let's make the call. Let's call the Braga.
and then Braga's like, I'll be
Nobody's going to listen to this episode because it's all incomprehensible Dom Toretto.
Well,
growls.
Doge, you were the one who suggested that we do the whole episode of our Dom Toretto voices. I'm just following protocol.
So who's Braga? We all had our own theories. It's good. I mean, they had us confused
Yeah.
enough.
To
I
be
was at
fair,
least
my theory
engaged.
was also that it was Letty. So
Yeah. And then, womp womp. It's just homeboy they've been talking to the whole time.
yeah, and also
Yeah.
the double cross, or not the double cross, but like the red herring of like the older gentleman.
Yeah.
Not convincing. It
Didn't
didn't
buy it
happen
at all.
for
Oh
long
my,
enough.
oh no.
No.
Another allusion to Dos Equis?
Oh,
Was this the most interesting man in the world?
Who became the least interesting man in the world
Because he was the most
so
deaded
fast.
man in the
when
world.
confronted
Because he had nothing
With
to do with
murder.
Corona.
with Corona.
confronted
Yeah.
with death. Here's the Dos Equis versus Corona.
That's what this whole
That's what
movie's
the whole
about.
movie was
They're
building
bashing, They're
to.
bashing Dos Equis.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Brilliant.
Here's the thing, though. I feel like let's play our favorite game, which is how could this have been made better? I think that if we had been seeing this guy who was the quote unquote Braga from the beginning, just kind of in the like background stuff, he would wave a hand or
We
do
did
whatever.
see him though. We saw the very edge of his face, like the edge of his white beard,
Right.
when Conan was
Right.
looking through the.
But I wish that he had been more present, sort of like a figurehead type thing. And then when the reveal comes in, it's like, I want to see Braga again. Like, I need to see Braga again. And then Braga comes out and then he let something slip. And then that's when you're like, wait.
I mean, if you're gonna steal
not
from
Braga.
Batman Begins, do it like really do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like put
Just
him,
do the whole
like
thing.
have him in the shadows, and like his face is not lit, and they bring Conan and Dom before him, and they're just like talk to Braga, and then he's like got a voice change, like you know what I mean? Like lean into that if you wanted that to be
I
the
agree.
reveal.
And I'm also just now realizing why you kept calling him Liam Neeson the whole time. And it's
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul, yeah.
So we get to the final race, right?
Yeah.
That's where we've landed.
Which I don't mind it. I mean, it's
it's
a lot of
enjoying.
things didn't make sense in terms of. I mean, I guess these were sleeper cars because almost everybody can keep up with what's supposed to be by far and away the fastest cars in the movie.
Yeah.
Another scramble.
But-
throw your yells in there.
Let's talk about this for a second. So let's say it was a tight hallway, yeah, that they're driving through.
Yeah,
Lots of twists and
the
turns.
tunnel.
So let's say, but they're still trying to go fast because it's in the name. So let's say on average they were going 40 miles an hour through that tunnel.
Yeah.
That seems slow, but I just want to, just for the sake of
Yeah,
I know what
yeah.
you're talking about.
clarity. So at 40 miles an hour, how long does it take them to go 1 mile? What's that math run out to? It's a little over a minute, right?
Can you just say they're going 60 miles an hour? So
Sure.
you say a minute.
Sure.
Takes them a minute
Let's
to go
say
a
they're
mile.
going 60 miles an hour. It takes them a minute
Yeah.
to go a mile.
Boom.
They're in that tunnel driving full speed in virtually a straight line for 5-6 minutes.
It's a lot.
I mean,
I mean,
how long is
even
the
at-
tunnel?
Even at 40 miles an hour, that means that this is a 3.5 mile mountain range.
I mean, is that improbable? I genuinely just have no frame of reference for that.
I don't either. That feels enormous, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe small.
Well, but for the
Honestly,
U.S.
don't know.
Mexico border, like if they were driving through the Himalayas, I might be able to go, yeah, that seems about right. But through across the U.S. Mexico border,
I honestly recuse myself from this conversation because I have no idea.
all right, Carter, let's
I
talk
have a-
about
yeah,
this. Doesn't that
it's-
feel too long?
I think it does. And I think we're doing a good job of confirming to our listeners we are not cartel.
yeah,
Because I think there might have been watchers who were like, no, that's about right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's about 4 miles. You're like, wait, what? Yeah, it's crazy. And it reminded me of the mountain on Tokyo Drift. It's like I want to have somebody who draws all this out
Yeah,
for me.
maps
'Cause
that out.
maybe,
Go ahead
maybe
and
it was
map this out
windy
for us.
because we've got some turns. It wasn't like a straight shot. But even then, I don't know.
And I want to point out, I started counting when Giselle told them you've got 15 seconds left in the first race, and it was a good 45 seconds.
We already
before
know.
they
When
exited.
we got our 10-second race at the beginning of this franchise.
Yeah, and it was like
We
the
did.
car's
roughly 2.5
driving bullet
minutes.
time.
Yeah, really.
I do want to circle back to something that you said. The cars are keeping up with what are supposed to be the fastest cars in the movie. Right.
That's my problem.
Is that extra textual genuine question? Is that extra textual knowledge that you know that these cars are faster than other cars, or is there something?
Why would Dom build
Is there something about them that
into a
Well,
car?
that's only me coming from someone who's like, I was drinking the superhero.
Okay,
It's like, I
'cause
feel
that's what
like
I'm
these
wondering.
are supposed to
Like-
be, oh no, the big Phoenix has gotten his car. He'll catch up to them for sure.
That's
but
what I
felt
said.
like I saw like a Ford Focus and just
Yeah.
random
Right up
old
next.
cars
Well, that's
from the
my-
guys playing poker.
And just being totally real and transparent with y'all, that's why car racing doesn't interest me, because it's like, cool, you push the gas really hard.
Yeah,
Right.
Great.
I'm a little bit the same.
You know what I
way.
mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just not my thing. If it's your thing, that's great. Love what you love. I hate it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Also in those reviews, if it wasn't about babes, it was like people legitimately love the cars. And I completely get that. Like you see something
Yeah.
like I love this movie because, and then they can say the model, like a D284 574. you know?
Yeah, like if it was a documentary about filmmakers and they're talking about cameras, or like musicians are talking about like
Yeah, you
guitars,
get it,
like I totally get that.
Well, but
so
like-
love what you love.
And I'll say, even as like a non-car guy, like Dom's car is cool.
Oh yeah.
I like the way it looks.
There's
Have-
definitely
beefy.
this
It's beefy
ongoing
looking.
thing, and unfortunately vocalized and made apparent by Dwight between like muscle
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
foreign.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we're getting like
Muscle
muscle
versus
and foreign,
import.
which I think they probably found in this franchise an argument that is within the car world, anyways.
Yeah.
Like what's
Yeah.
better? There's that whole Netflix series is about a sleeper car versus like sports car. So
Yeah.
someone wants to be like, I built this, America, and then Paul Walker jumps on the wrong side of a Nissan, and people are like, no, that's faster.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, I do want to real quick, the desert scenes, the driving, the chase. Did it make either of you just desperately want to turn this movie off and turn on Mad Max Fury Road?
so
for sure.
much.
It's all I wanted.
so
I would
much.
have even been okay for someone to be playing an electric guitar on top of a giant boombox vehicle. Yeah,
Yeah, it would have
just
been
really
so
good.
wonderful.
At the
Gosh,
end
that
of this
movie rules
race,
so hard.
which it's so funny. I think a microcosm of how much cooler Dom is than Brian.
Yeah.
Was killing Phoenix.
Yes.
Oh,
Brian is like, I'll hold his ankle, and then Dom. This was my super pump. Like
Yeah.
I found a specific moment that I was like, this is so cool. Like
yeah.
little like 10-year-old Carter with
Yep.
his Hot Wheel briefcase full of Hot
Exactly.
Wheels was like this. I wrote this.
Yeah, this is how I
wrote
play with
this.
my toys. Yeah.
And it was amazing. I loved that so much. It was such a like satisfying ending.
He just Green Goblined him.
Yes.
Don't tell Harry.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Did you talk about how much this movie made?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So same budget as Tokyo Drift. Tokyo Drift made about, so this was $85 million.
Right. Tokyo Drift made 125.
Like 125, 150. This one made $360 million.
Oh,
Wow.
my
It
goodness.
happened. Like
Yeah, it's
Wowzers.
here. We've made it.
they put it together and they said, okay, we are officially going through all. And so, and something else too, before we get to the very end, I want to talk about this director a little bit, and we haven't yet.
Justin Lin?
Justin Lin.
Yeah.
And so he did Tokyo Drift,
Yeah.
which we even had brought up, like cinematography and stuff. Some stuff is getting better.
He's a talented director.
He's doing good at this.
Yeah.
And so then he's done some of the Star Trek movies, the newer
He did Star
ones.
Trek Beyond.
Yeah, he did Star Trek
Really?
Beyond. So he's done
Interesting.
this one. I think he does 5 and 6 in the Fast and Furious series.
Cool.
Takes 7 and 8 off. Good news. He also will have 9 and 10.
Cool.
He'll have those again. Guys, this isn't going to be his only car movie. Do you want to know what the other one is? It's pre-production right now.
What? I have to know.
Guys, Justin Lin is going to be the director of a Hot Wheels movie.
What?
I will watch that so hard.
There's a Hot Wheels
There's
movie?
going to be a Hot Wheels
I am
movie.
so excited.
Is it Toy Story-esque?
I have no idea.
I want it to be a dystopian future where cars drive on bright orange tracks that do
Yes.
loop-de-loops.
I mean, let's do it.
I'm all about it. I mean, they made a freaking battleship movie.
Let's do
any
it.
Of, any of my toys can be movies.
Clue was a movie.
Rubik's Cube. One wrong turn, and you're going to be black and blue.
That was a pretty good tagline. So we've already talked about the tagline for this movie is new model, same parts.
Yeah.
What would be a better tagline for this one, you guys?
Some Han, but never enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
Take a back seat, Dos Equis.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm the moderator. I don't have a.
Oh, come
I don't have
on.
a-
So I actually want to, I haven't super pumped yet, and I feel like it's time.
Do it.
My super pump, and this gets a little weird, but my super pump is the 2-minute span where we saw everybody together and then got a little Paul Walker at the tail end where it was like, oh, the dream. I want it all. I want it all because Han was in it and he was with Dom and and Letty was alive. And then we saw Paul and like, it's just, I feel like it's just giving me a taste of the moment. Cause I haven't looked ahead. I would bet my allowance, all of my lawn mowing money that Roman's coming back. He has to.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Tej comes back.
Yeah.
Would love to see Twinkie make his way over to the US of A, but he would be like 15, so maybe not actually at this time.
And Sean.
Oh gosh, no.
Sean
please.
is coming back.
Wait,
He's going to be in some other ones. Yeah, we looked ahead.
Yeah.
Sean comes back from Tokyo Drift.
Sean's coming back from Tokyo.
Sorry. Guys, Jordan can't talk right now.
Sean's,
are you being serious?
Yep.
Completely serious. Right
Sean's back in the US of A, baby.
I want to die.
now. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
But
my
you know what? I
gosh.
think the love for Han, I don't think we're alone because I think I've heard in passing like a lot of people's favorite parts of this series is
Han,
Han.
yeah.
And I think because they wanted Dom and they wanted Vin Diesel, they've made him a superhero. It was almost like Fast and Furious was all about like, let's make sure he's the guy.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
if they bring in Han, I don't know. I don't think it makes less money. I don't
No.
know. I just wanted so much more.
And my thing is like, but yeah, sorry, I want to clarify and close out my super pump before I get onto this tangent. But like my super pump is the moment of everybody all together at the beginning. We kind of blew past it because honestly, I wasn't sure what my super pump was going to be going into this episode. But
Okay.
now that I've really reflected on it, it has to be that. It is. That was
See,
the
that's-
moment in this movie that I went, yeah.
That's so strange to me because this movie relies on the beginning of it, at least for me, being informed nostalgia rather than actual felt nostalgia. Like the movie,
100%.
when you sit down and watch the movie goes, hey, you're supposed to feel so good to see the whole gang back together.
But I did though, is the thing.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. It worked for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They
don't know
pulled
how
the
did
wool.
it.
But I just want to pitch this movie. We, as a whole, toss Tokyo Drift out the window, pretend it never existed, kill Sean. Sean's character doesn't exist. And we do a Han Dom spinoff.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
I want to watch it. I want to watch Han and Dom just go do their thing somewhere. I'm talking like just go put together a random crew, maybe let Letty tag along.
Yep.
Yeah, I want
Han,
Letty in
Dom,
it.
Letty in a car, gone. And they just go do their thing.
Fast and Furious. Han and Dom in Hong Kong.
Yeah. And let me tell you
All
something.
the all.
That is a movie I'd go see opening night.
Oh.
Genuinely.
Love me some Han.
Yep.
Han and Dom.
How did we get here?
Guys,
How did we like this?
But here's the and I think it's gonna come to light when we get to ratings what our true feelings are on this movie, because actually I feel like the waters have been relatively murky back and forth on this episode onto like overall feelings for this movie. But man, I'm telling you, I feel something for Han, and like I'm craving some more Dom Toretto in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that too. And I look ahead and I've been wanting to hold it in, but I know that Dwayne Johnson joins this crew.
Oh, I'm so ready.
excited.
My friends, I cannot wait.
And you know
I'm going to
who
have
else?
to.
I love him.
JC Statham.
Oh, yeah. Bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not a
go.
huge Jason Statham fan,
Let's
but
go.
I'll watch him in this.
I'll watch him.
Let's-
So
We ready to rate?
is it time to rate?
Yeah.
Oh, let me throw in one more thing.
Yeah, give it to
Justin Lin might end up being one of our favorites soon, because not only is he doing a Hot Wheels movie, he is the director of Space Jam 2.
What?
Is that confirmed?
That keeps
I
going
think it
back
is.
and forth.
It's been
right?
floating around
on
for
IMDb.
like a decade.
We can always cut that part.
Just leave it.
let's
for
rate it.
posterity.
Let's rate Space Jam 2.
So here at Two Chunks and a Hunk, we've created the scientific cinema scale. It is a perfectly scientific way of rating movies, and it is as follows. The best thing we can ever say about a movie is own it, don't lend it, buy that poster. The next best thing we can ever say about a movie is buy it. The next best thing, rent it. The next best thing is stream it. The next best and second worst thing we can ever say about a movie is forget it. And lastly, the worst thing we can ever say about a movie, God has forsaken us. Who wants to go first?
I'll do it.
Okay.
This movie for me has become what I thought Tokyo Drift was.
Okay.
If you'll recall last week that I said you should stream Tokyo Drift, because if somebody's like, what is Fast and Furious all about? I would say show them Tokyo Drift. I think that Fast and Furious is a better microcosm of the Fast and the Furious franchise
Yeah.
than Tokyo Drift. And for that reason, I say stream it. You deserve to know what this cultural juggernaut is all about.
And this is a good place to start.
This is a good place to start and probably end.
Yeah. I think I'm going to stream it too.
Okay.
And I know I did stream the very first one, and that was because simply it is the very beginning.
Yeah.
I'm going to stream it. I tell you what, in my heart, I wanted to rent it, but I have a feeling the trajectory is I'm going to love these movies more and more. And I don't, and I know that as a movie like critic, I'm really not going to have so many Fast and the Furious posters, if any, on my wall.
So you
in
gotta
terms
leave
of
room.
a movie franchise, I got to leave some room.
leave room to go.
Yeah.
And it really is just it's a stream for me.
I get that. I get it so much that I agree. This movie is a stream it for me. It's an easy stream it, actually.
Yeah.
Like, as in, I would consider this is the first one of the series that I would actually consider turning on for the first 15 minutes and then being like, I'm done. But like,
sure.
But like getting some of it in, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'd watch a little bit.
A little bit at a time.
Yeah. Just
Also, we just touched bare feet under the table while you were rating that.
no!
And it was an accident, but I hated it so
Dwight's
much.
under the table. He put y'all's feet
Oh
together.
no,
Oh,
Dwight.
We forgot to mention Dwight's weird feet scene. I'm gonna let it go,
that's
but
enough.
Yeah.
man, it's very strange.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, this movie to me is actually like, if there was a tier of stream it, this would actually be ahead of the Fast and the Furious for me.
Yeah.
I would watch this one sooner than that one.
I think I would too.
And so for me, it's an easy stream it.
Yeah, I think so. And I think like I'm so glad to have this feeling. It kind of wraps everything up for me.
Yeah.
To have a feeling of, you know what? Now I'm excited. I think
Yeah.
I'm a little bit excited for the next
I
one.
don't dread watching the next one as much
I don't
as I have
Especially
for the past,
so
like,
here's
month.
why I'm excited. I know for sure. Here are the only things I know for sure about Fast 5. We get The Rock.
He's in this
He's in
one.
the next one?
I think Fast 5 is his first appearance.
Please don't be
I hope so.
I might be wrong.
I hope so.
So I might have lied when I said here are the things I know for sure. Here's some things I think I know. We get The Rock in the next one. But most importantly to me, this is the first in the entire series that is rated above a 7. The average rating
on IMDb.
yeah, the average
Guys, Dwayne Johnson.
yes.
I'm so pumped.
The average rating of Fast 5 is a 7.1,
Yeah, I'll take it.
which feels about
I'll take
right.
it. Yeah, I'll take it.
And for these movies, a 7.1 might as well be a 10 out of 10.
I'll
Yeah.
take it.
I mean, so we'll get The Rock. We're gonna have Roman again.
Isn't
We're gonna-
Luke Evans
We're
in
gonna
this one
have
too?
Tej again.
Yes.
Han is in this one.
Yes.
I don't see Luke Evans.
Oh, I thought he was.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
back?
it's 6. Maybe it's 6.
No Letty. But we've got Brian and Dom, obviously. Mia's back.
Naturally. She's got to go to the
Guys,
med
I'm
school.
sorry, Giselle's back.
I think she's a series regular
She's
at this
in
point.
now.
Gotcha. But yeah,
I wonder if she's going to be in 9 and 10 though, since she's already Wonder Woman.
Oh man, that would be
Ooh.
just too bad if she had to go somewhere else.
many good things.
Yeah. Well, this is the part of the show where we normally do shout outs, but in lieu of shout, I mean, obviously we got to give a nod to our main man, Jesse. Jesse, thank you so much for all that you do on behalf of Chunk Nation. We really appreciate all the official Chunkies out there. We love you. We're your biggest fans.
I also actually want to give a shout out to Caleb Moore. Hopefully you're listening and being filled with warm fuzzies that I think we're finally starting to round the corner and see some of the sweet light.
Yeah,
starting
and
to
I'm
like some of
trying
your
to
favorite
find. I
movies.
want to find it, and hopefully, I have it by the next cast. But I feel like there might be a series in my life that really my heart is holding on to the most recent feelings I've had about it, and
Rather
the
than
majority
as a
of what I
whole.
have. Because if we look at 8, there's 8 in the series. If 5 of those 8 were something we really enjoyed, then we're a fan of the series,
Yeah.
are we not?
Yeah, I hear that.
And we've just got these things we want to push to the side. So
hear
maybe
that.
that's what it is.
Yes.
And
Fair enough.
I just want to say, like, it was so brave of Caleb to really come out and just claim like this series as the best thing he's ever watched in his life. I can't believe he had the courage to do that publicly. And so Caleb, like, thank you for just being so bold in that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Well, we do have a special announcement for you guys for next week. So,
Give it to us.
So unfortunately, we are taking a break from Fast and Furious, and we don't get to watch the movie that we're all excited
Yeah,
about.
that is actually a huge bummer to me.
Next week, we're going to be jumping back into our Marvel series, which is no longer the Infinity Countdown because Infinity Wars
Marvel
already
again.
happened.
It's
We're just
just Marvel
MCU
again.
babies, and we're going to be reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp. Oh, it's a together thing. We're going to be reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I can't wait.
It's going to be a real good
I
time.
literally cannot wait to watch and review this movie.
Yeah, it's going to be very fun. Carter's actually going to be out of town.
I'm gonna pull a Letty.
He's going to pull a Letty. He's just going to he's going to get murdered and then come back to life later.
And we're going to miss him so bad. Next week for Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's just going to be Doge and I here holding down the fort. But as we kind of finish up here, I just think it would be really beneficial for me to go around the circle and give our best estimate as to what Vin Diesel's biceps would sound like if they could speak human language.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so what they would sound like if they could speak human
And let's go with a
language.
test sentence for everybody.
Okay.
And the test sentence is, I prefer the buttery taste of Corona. Who wants to go first?
And they would sound separate and distinct from Vin Diesel himself.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what's so hard.
That's hard.
I can go first. I think I'm
You
locked
go.
and loaded.
Okay.
All right. I prefer the buttery taste of Corona.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think.
Dead on. Why even compete?
It sounds to me like if a trailer, like a double wide, came to life.
Yeah, I've got mine.
Okay.
You ready?
Go.
I prefer the buttery taste of Corona.
Because I think they're on the verge of just busting out of the
It's
skin.
flexed
It just makes me feel
24/7.
like it's just so tense. You know?
Yeah.
I prefer the buttery taste of Corona.
I think they'd have like a higher, like a more Kermity voice.
Interesting.
Because Vin Diesel would be like,
Very Jim Henson of you.
I prefer the buttery taste of Corona.
and they'd be like,
I prefer the buttery taste of Corona.
for 2 chunks in a hunk.
I'm Vin Diesel's biceps. I'm regular Vin Diesel.
And I am Hulk.
Goodbye.